Welcome to the Bomba Pod. I'm your host, Martin Bomba, and each week we bring you meaningful conversations with guests who uplift, inspire, and encourage you to become the very best version of yourself. Whether you're chasing a dream, building something new, or just looking for a spark of motivation, you're in the right place. Produced by Dennis Ayotte and proudly supported by Window World and PJ's Coffee of New Orleans. Let's grow together. Let's be inspired. Let's get started. Hey everybody, it's Martin Bomba. Welcome back to another edition of the Bomba Pod. Today's guest, very well-known name in the city of San Antonio and beyond. Great family and a great legacy here, and it's always nice to talk to a second-generation owner of a great business. So today we welcome April Ancira.
Oh, thanks for having me, Martin.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're here. You know, I've obviously everybody who has bought a car in San Antonio at one time or another in the last 45 years.
Right? Yeah. Actually, we're a little bit over 54-ish
Now it's
years.
54.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
The time does slip by. But your dad and your mom built this business
Right.
and kind of bootstraps up. We're not going to talk a lot about your mom and dad. I'm here to talk to you about you. But
Although it's an exciting story, but for another time.
it's incredible. I
Yeah.
do have to ask you one thing, though. I heard that your dad, before he got into the business, was a toilet paper salesman. Is that the truth?
Yeah, to a degree. Yeah. So
Internationally.
Okay. So he got his degree at St. Edward's in Austin. His degree was in marketing.
Okay.
And so he worked for Gillette and then Kimberly-Clark in the marketing department.
Right.
One of the things that they have is toilet paper. So he wasn't really door to door with his toilet paper.
It is a fun story, though.
Yeah, I know. But in a marketing sense, yes, he
Yeah.
did aid in the sale of toilet paper.
And maybe I heard him say it one time.
Yeah.
He did something about, a guy that came up selling toilet paper, and now I've got these dealerships,
It's not a lie. I mean, there's some truth to that in
Yeah.
a manner of speaking. So, and we know from COVID how important toilet paper is. So,
Saved a lot of lives.
I know.
It
I
did.
know. Just keeping it in the dealership was a struggle.
Toilet paper.
High theft. High theft rate of dealership toilet paper.
It was time to take a sabbatical when the corn cobs started being delivered. Is that what it is?
Right. That's probably
That's probably
right.
too old of a reference for you.
Yeah, I was going along with it though.
That's what.
I'll Google it later.
Google it later. Google, depression and yes. do that.
Okay.
It'll be funny to you. The car dealership is synonymous with cars and auto buying in San Antonio, but you go way beyond that. We're going to talk a little bit about the cars and the car dealerships, but we're going to talk a whole lot more about you and your philanthropy and the things that you do around the community. But one of the things I want to start off with is I understand that before you got into the auto business and before you became the person that everybody sees on TV all the time, you were painfully shy.
Painfully shy. Scary shy. My dad was very concerned. I was the kid you see behind the mom's leg. I wouldn't call 411 for information. I don't know what I was afraid of. I think it was maybe I wouldn't know how to react or act with a dialogue with somebody I didn't know. Maybe comfortable in my own self, which was probably what it was. But I was painfully shy, and my parents were incredibly concerned.
So how does a kid that was that shy, and I said we have something in common, and that's one of the things that we have in common is I wouldn't say I'm shy, but I would rather not be in public.
Yes, that's correct.
Right?
That's correct. I feel the same way. The problem is I have a fear of not having the ability to change what I'm saying, what's coming out of my mouth. The ability to remember people is a big deal for me. I have a very poor memory. It's not them. It's not how important they are.
No, it has nothing to do with that.
Honestly, just can't remember faces and names, and I think they take it personally.
Oh, you're not good with faces either.
No, I'm not good with either. And
I don't forget faces.
That's good. That's good. You got one.
Names are difficult, though.
And some people are offended by that. They think it means you're stuck up. You think they're better than them. Not true. On the contrary, something is missing in my brain. I call it a superpower to be able to do that. So interactions make me nervous. Do I remember this person? What am I going to say? At least an email or a text, I have the ability to delete and reframe my question. No, that doesn't sound so good. Let's project it this way.
It's not live.
Right.
It's editable.
Yes, it's editable. So I think it's the live portion of interacting that has me afraid.
Yeah, and I can't even say that, though, with me, because as much as I don't like being in a crowd, I love being on a stage.
Right.
I like being separate from it. People think it's insane, but you'll understand this.
I do.
I'd rather be on a stage in front of 10,000 people than be down in the pit. That's
right.
Any day.
I'm the same with you. And I feel like there's a lot of that with a lot of comedians, actors. You see that often with them. I have no explanation for it. I'm sure there's a psychology behind it. Maybe it's you're delivering a piece of yourself organically, so you don't maybe have to fit into the nuance of a dialogue. Maybe the back and forth is just too cliche. How are you doing? Fine. How are you doing? Fine.
Right.
How's the weather? Do we really want to know how's the weather? I don't know what we want to talk about. Some of it's just a little bit.
It's awkward.
It's awkward.
It's small talk is awkward.
It's so awkward, and I think I don't like small talk either. Let's just get to the nitty gritty of it.
Let's see if we have something to discuss.
Right, and that might be part of it as well.
That's one of the things I love about doing this is there's always something to talk about.
Right. I noticed while I was reviewing the things we were talking about, you genuinely call them deep cuts. So you're not doing this brief overview of a person. You're getting down to details.
Yeah.
Things of significance to the person. So we're not doing the small talk that's drives us a little crazy.
Anybody can talk about that. The reason I do that, and I've got to give credit where credit's due. Dennis Ayotte, our producer, is superb when it comes to research.
Right.
So I've got a guy in my pocket that does really good research.
Yeah, he found things out about me that I didn't know about me.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. I didn't realize that I did that.
And that's the fun part is, getting that reaction from a guest is, how did you know that?
I was really impressed.
Really impressed. Me too. I'm always
and
impressed.
Frightened, a little bit frightened.
Yeah, but there's a talk host. Of course, you know who Howard Stern is. Everybody knows who Howard Stern is. Best interviewer I've ever heard. And one of the reasons is he goes pretty deep and talks about stuff that these people have no idea was even public.
Right.
Which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's fun to learn those fun facts about folks. I was at the Masters not too long ago, very blessed to be able to go. And we had somebody who had previously won the Masters speaking with us. And everybody was asking questions that routinely get asked. And I got on ChatGPT and said, what's something super interesting I could ask about this person? And threw him for a curveball, and everybody was delighted. So I know those deep cuts work well.
That's cool. So how do you go from being that painfully shy kid who is afraid to call 411?
Right,
which anybody who's younger than us that's listening to this or watching this has no idea what we're talking about. That was before Google.
That's so true. Maybe they can Google 411.
Maybe so. Yeah, Google that. They think it's a song.
Right. Give me the 411.
That's it. Give me that 411. How do you go from that, though?
Yeah.
How do you go from being so shy to not only doing TV commercials, which we know you can do second, third takes on.
Right.
So that kind of...
Editable.
Editable. That's a hard word.
Yeah.
To getting up on stage and doing stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
And you've done it. And not only did you do that, I think you won it.
I did win that one, and I've done it 5 times total.
You've done it 5 times now?
All with Cleto.
Oh.
I've done, the contest was only 1 time. The rest of the time was just genuine stand-up.
You got up at one of his gigs and did stand-up?
Like 4 more times.
Wow.
Yeah, I've opened for Cleto. I've roasted Cleto. So I've done it several more times. But to be honest, so my friends are my really, really close friends, I have to say, since they're already close to me, they're going to think what do you mean shy? You're so loud and crazy. But that's with the people we're already intimate with. We have a good relationship with.
That's different.
On the outside, just heading into a gala or a luncheon, completely different. You have to put your game face on. So prior to that, I was at Trinity University, which is a liberal arts school here. And the great thing about liberal arts school is you are put in a position where you have to take classes outside of your major. And I don't know why it dawned on me, but I was looking at the list of classes and I told myself, what's the scariest class you could possibly take? And so the scariest class I saw was speech. And so I signed up in order to finish in 4 years. I took it in the summertime with a wonderful visiting professor from Yale. So he was good.
Oh, yeah.
So I took speech class, and by the end of class, I ended up writing a speech that got an A on how to give a speech, which is kind of ironic. But what speech class did for me was it enabled me to put my thoughts in an organized fashion, to be able to deliver them with confidence, to talk to somebody without fumbling too much. Now, granted, I still fumble quite often. I feel like my mouth moves faster than my brain, or maybe my brain's moving faster than my mouth. I don't know which way. But it was that instilled confidence to be able to organize those thoughts and communicate well with others that gave me the confidence to put myself out there. And so once I accomplished one scary thing, it benefited me in 2 facets. Well, now I can communicate better. 2 was now I have the confidence to do scary things, right? And so we were talking before this that I ended up, what's scary? Flying a plane. So I got my pilot's license. So that's not scary anymore. And it's even less frightening to fly on my own now that I know what they're doing up front. What's scary? Maybe doing an Ironman race. Am I going to finish? That's a lot of training. And the more things that you do that you challenge yourself with and overcome, the easier it is to be able to deal with things that come to your way in life in general. Okay, I can do hard things. I can do scary things. And that's kind of what really happened. That was the impetus, was the speech class. My dad will tell you was cheerleading. But again, cheerleading is a lot like standing on the stage and doing comedy. You're not having that small talk. You're out
one-way
there
interaction,
performing.
basically.
Yeah. So I really think it was speech that turned everything around for me.
Yeah, I think everybody's got that if they come from a shy background. My daughter, Lindsay, shy, FFA was her thing.
That was it.
And she got into speaking in FFA and there was no turning back.
Super.
Yeah, so it got her way out of the shell.
One of the most important things now they're realizing to teach students to be able to be successful is no matter where you are, even if you're a doctor, especially if you're a lawyer, but maybe you're a biologist, maybe you're an archaeologist, you're going to be giving presentations. It's not just for business. It's not just for politics. It actually helps you have confidence in any arena you're going to get into. And so now, even in the high school my kids are at, they're teaching them to speak in front of a crowd, even if that has nothing to do with what they want to do in the future, because it will have something to do with what they want to do in the future. It'll definitely come in handy no matter what. So it's a very important thing to learn, and it gives you that confidence in general.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I bet your dad was kind of like my dad. He probably brought you, and correct me if I'm wrong, but selling is part of every facet of your life.
For real.
Life is sales.
Yeah, like you're selling yourself
Always.
in a legal manner.
Yes.
I don't want that taken the wrong way. So we're selling ourselves, but who you are as a person, right? As an individual. So you're right. You're always selling something.
Yeah.
For real.
So when people say, "Oh, I hate sales,"
right,
or "I hate salespeople," it cracks me up because they don't realize every day they're doing that.
I mean, even if you're nerding out on some PhD that you're doing, the paper that you're writing is going to have to be sold as a thought process, as an ending, something to a level of faculty, peers to read over. You're even selling content like that if you're somewhere that you don't speak in front of a group. So you're right. You're just, even in those instances, you're always selling.
So, speaking of selling, you are part of the Ancira Auto Group, and in fact, you've kind of come through the ranks through the years,
right?
And I think that's really the only way, as a second or third generation business person, that's the only way to do it,
right?
Because I don't think that you'll ever get the respect of your employees if you haven't done each one of their jobs,
right?
And I think there's a lot of truth to that. But tell me about your arc and how you went from what were you going to do first? What was your dream job when you were in Trinity?
Oh, at Trinity, I was going to work on Wall Street.
That's insane.
Yeah, that wasn't even the first one. The first one I was wanting to work in a marketing firm because I thought
not so bad.
Yeah, that wasn't as bad. To be honest, my dad said, "Listen, unless you take finance, I'm not going to help with your education." So I said, "Okay, I'll have a BS in," and that always makes me laugh. A BS, Bachelor of Science in Marketing and Finance. So it was.
See, a BS isn't usually that good,
right? I know this is the best BS you're going to get. The best BS. There was a lot of people crossing the stages with a bunch of BS in their hand this past weekend, across the nation as they graduated. So, it was finance, and they had a student managed fund, and it was in that student managed fund at Trinity that I fell in love with it. But let me backtrack just briefly a few years. At 16, I did start answering phones and filing. I didn't do it to enhance my resume. I couldn't even write what a resume was. I didn't know what one was. At that time, I was doing it for some extra cash for clothes. That was it. That was it.
As 16-year-olds will do, especially girls.
So there I was, enhancing my wardrobe with my summer job answering phones. And that was at Ancira, Volkswagen, Kia, and Subaru. Those stores are separated now, and one has even been sold. So I did that for 2 years. The third year, I was in the accounting department at our Chevy store, and it was monotonous, horribly boring. Shout out to all those people in accounting. We need you. We love you. We couldn't function without you. But my eyes were going cross-eyed. And back then, we had less software available to us. So I would balance a floor plan, meaning the bank would say what we had on the floor, and we had our statement of what vehicles we had on the floor, and I would have to match them, and those numbers would have to match. And I'd be off by a penny. I'd have to start over. I'd be off by $1 million, which is horrible. And then I have to start over. And we'd print it out on those papers that had those side perforations with the holes. Do you remember?
Dot matrix printers. Yep. Dot matrix. Yep.
So that's what I'm working with at the age of 18. And I was like, you know what? This car business is for the birds. Also, I was the only employee paid minimum wage at Ancira. I was paid $4.25 an hour. Only one. So I said, that's it. Next year, I'm working at Chili's.
It's good to know that there was no nepotism going on.
So, yeah, I'm not sure I deserve much more, but I did leave, and I went to Chili's, and I waited tables the next summer. Oh, boy, that job was phenomenal. I learned so much about customer service. There was plenty of adversity there. Someone stole, the money out of my apron one time, and the entire staff made that money back up in a pot for me.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like the last person working at Chili's that needs all that money, but they wouldn't take it back. I met some incredible people, hard work. I really love that job. I almost think everybody should be a waitress or waiter at one point in their life.
Something in the service industry.
Service industry. I had people who left me cute notes and crayons, say, best service I've ever had. I'm sorry I spent all my money on the food. Here's a 0 tip. But here's your little note and crayon. But for every person that left me a 0 tip, somebody would leave me an outrageously large tip.
Yes.
And so when I go out, I do leave outrageously large tips because I know somebody left a 0 tip. And I'm like, you know what? Somebody has to make up for this tip. And today I'm able to do it. I'm in a place where I can do it. Thank goodness. I don't know if that's going to be the case all the time. I know it hasn't always been the case in my life. Today I can do it. I'm going to help net out that 0 tip to make it something decent. So that was a big part of my life. So fast forward, I'm at Trinity. I'm more from my marketing focus to more of a finance focus, even though I majored in both. And I'm going to Wall Street. And my dad's cousin had a connection with Smith Barney up there. Okay, we'll set you up an interview in October of this year. Let's see where this is going to go. My senior year was 9/11. So immediately I pivot. I'd always been told when the chips are down, elevate your resume, go get some more education, do something to make yourself more attractive on paper until you can get the job you want. All right, let's go back to school. So that's when I told my dad I'm going to go get my master's at UTSA, make myself look more attractive on paper later to when I go work on Wall Street. He said, that's fine. I said, I'd like to see what selling is like. I'll be selling stocks, bonds, commodities, what have you. Do you mind if I sell cars this summer? He said, go for it. So I get in there at the Chrysler wow, what was it at that time? That time it was just Chrysler Jeep, no Dodge. We hadn't merged yet. So I got to the Chrysler Jeep store, and I remember the first car I sold. It was a Jeep Grand Cherokee to Patrick Karam. He owned Broadway Bar, Alibis. What's another one? Babcock Bar. Apparently this group ended up owning a whole bunch of bars. So it was very exciting. I sold Patrick his first car. I remember it like it was yesterday. He was apprehensive about buying it. Everybody has challenges when they come in mentally about how the car buying experience is going to go. I'm going to get ripped off. They're going to take advantage of me. That's so. So I ended up doing everything he wanted. He found himself a little bench that I didn't fit on. He says, I'm doing the deal out here. And I was like, all right. So I sat on the ground and I did the whole thing by hand because it's still by hand that day.
Yeah.
I'm doing the whole thing by hand. And I'm like, okay, these are the things you want. He's like, that's it. Ran in, got my manager. He was like, super. So we did the deal. And when we finished, he goes, that was the best buying experience I've ever had. And I was like, oh. I was like, well, that's fantastic.
Because you hadn't learned all the bad habits yet.
I hadn't learned the bad habits yet. I was just happy to help him however I could. He goes, I'm coming back tomorrow and buying myself a personal Grand Cherokee. So he comes back, bought it. He was like, amazing, 2 in a row. He goes, you know what? My sister needs a minivan. And at the time we had Kia Sedonas. And he goes, I'm going to bring her in. So he brought her in, and she brought a friend in for moral support. And so I sell her the Kia Sedona while she's in finance. The lady who was there for moral support, I sold her a hot little fast ride. Yeah, and so I sold her. I was on a roll. She was so happy. And
what was that, four in 2 days?
Yeah, basically. So I sat there and I was like, I'm not gonna leave. I was like, we found out where I go. My favorite part though was it was kind of sad because they came in saying, I didn't expect this. I hate buying cars. This was the best buying experience I've ever had. So sad about their preconceived notions, happy I could change the way they thought about it. And so I said, this is my spot. This is where I'm staying. And I'm going to change the way people feel about buying cars. Kind of a long story. Sorry.
No, it's a great story. That's a great story, a great success story from the get-go. That's pretty nice. But the one question I do have to ask you is, how angry and how much did the guy out in the parking lot smoking that cigarette, how much did he hate you?
I don't know. I know. I eventually ended up feeling bad for some of them and not going up and being aggressive about what they called taking ups back then.
Yeah.
I would just sit back and once they were all busy, then I would proceed and help the next customer.
Well, that probably bought you some goodwill.
Maybe. I did always feel bad about, like, because I'm just here learning. That's what I was thinking in my head. I'm here learning, but they're actually, this is their rent, this is their food, this is any education for their kiddos. So I would hang back until, I don't know, that probably didn't look so good to my dad and management. Like, why isn't she so aggressive? But I was aggressive about providing a great experience when I had the opportunity.
And with that, we're going to take a great little break here and come back and talk a lot more with April Ancira and find out some more about her life, some of the charities that she is big supporter of, and a whole lot more. Stick around. We'll be right back.
This is the future team.
Oh yeah, Window World, we've been family owned and operated for 4 generations. We can't wait to see what these little guys do when they take over. Okay, maybe we can wait. I think that's best for everyone.
Want service that's honest? Window World. Service for generations.
These windows are seriously the easiest windows to clean on the market. Just a little bit of this glass cleaner, put it on there.
Window World has been family owned for generations, which means chores aren't just chores, they're part of professional development.
You got this, Layla. It's wax on, wax off.
Needless to say, things are a work in progress. For squeaky clean service you can trust, call Window World. Service for generations. Hi, everybody. We're back on the Bomba Pod. Thank you so much for joining us today. And what a great time you picked to join us with April Ancira sitting in the chair over there.
In the chair. It's nice and comfy.
I try to make nice for the guests.
I know.
Try and make it nice and comfy.
Part of your showroom floor here, like admiring all the windows.
Well,
here.
thank you.
Look at all these windows.
Oh, that we have
They're
blacked out. That we have
Yeah,
blacked out right now.
The
yeah.
irony is I can't see any windows.
You
in
can't
here.
see that, but they are all blacked out. I forget who asked me that. They said, "What are you doing? You're putting up blackout curtains on all these windows?" I said, "You can still see them from the outside."
For sure. For
You
sure.
know,
The
it's
people
all right.
coming in.
And I mean, we had the space, so what am I supposed to do? Go out and rent a space for this? No.
You could just tell people coming in on the outside that's your new tinted windows. So it's a privacy feature.
That's it. One way.
One way.
One way.
Yeah.
They don't know any better. No. So you're in the business. You decide to stay in the business, I'm assuming, after
That's
realizing that you can sell your took-us off?
Yeah. I just hung out. So I went to service and parts next, dispatch. So I don't know if anyone even knows what dispatch is, but those are the people who assign the jobs to the technicians in the back. And the only thing I didn't do, I never went under the hood myself.
Actually mechanical.
Yeah, I kind of wish I had, but that would have been a much longer process to go through. I did go to another school called NADA Dealer Academy, so National Automotive Dealers Association Dealer Academy.
Yeah.
It's a year long, 1 week every other month for an entire year. And it's actually where I met my husband. His family had 8 stores in Maryland, and they started in the 30s with Studebaker. That's how
Really?
old his
That
family
goes
went
way
back.
back.
Way back. So one of my best closes was my husband, because he was the only one next in line to take over that business. And so he came to San Antonio, works for us.
How upset were his parents?
Oh God. they are thrilled now.
Well, now they are.
Now they're
But
thrilled.
on the onset, how did they feel
that
about
was that I was not their favorite person. I was not at all. I stole their baby from the state, and then I took him from the business.
Oh.
So it was, his mom didn't talk to me for a little bit. But once we got married, and especially after the first baby's always the icebreaker. So now they're
it?
thrilled
It kind of
with
rights
his
a lot of wrongs, doesn't
yes.
it?
Now they're thrilled with his decision because his dad was so excited to retire. They moved to Myrtle Beach, living the life, visit all the time, sold the business, and life is great for them.
They have retirement money now.
They have retirement money now. That's correct. So
And-
everything's great.
And as much as I love, I mean, I would never have it any other way. You're second generation, is that right?
I'm second, yes.
Are your kids planning on being third generation?
I have no idea.
Have you talked about it with them? It's too early. It's too early.
When I was a kid, I was going to be a ballerina. Then I was going to be a vet. Then I was going to be, how many different things were you going to be? My daughter wanted to be in the NBA. So I was like, there's a WNBA, Hope. And she's like, yeah, I know, but I'm going to be in the NBA. And then she was like
Okay.
10. Now she can't stand basketball. So
And it does happen. I mean, you kind of go through your ebbs and flows. For me, for you, it was Wall Street. For me, it was anything in music.
oh, yeah.
I wanted to do something musical, and I was very much into DJing and radio and stuff like that.
Do you still do that, though?
Well, yes.
Yeah.
I don't do the music part of it per se, but I do a talk show every Saturday on KTSA, so I get to dip
you
my
have
foot
outlets.
in the water.
You have outlets.
Yes.
I also am the same way about certain things. I have my outlets.
Yeah,
for
I got a
stuff.
drum set set up in my office at home and play to my heart's content whenever I feel like it. And
Super.
Get up. I've got a cousin who plays. I get up and sing with him, so I still get to do all the stuff I love to do and still make a good living.
So my parents, when I was super shy, said, oh, she wears her heart on her sleeve. She's very soft, emotional, probably going to be a social worker type person. And the irony of it is you come full circle. I'm in a dog-eat-dog, car dealer world, but I'm using it as my vehicle. And now I use it as a pun. Wasn't originally. When the first time I said it, I was like, I'm going to use that. Now I use it as a vehicle to actually do things in the community. So go figure, I'm still sort of doing what they thought I was probably going to end up doing anyways, and that I enjoy.
But, I mean, isn't that a beautiful thing that you're in the position to be able to do the things you do?
Yes.
And Debbie and I feel the same way.
Grateful every day.
We're grateful every day for everything we have. And we look at it as every time that we have a win, every time we have a success, we look at that as another way to contribute back to the community,
right,
and to help causes that need it.
Correct.
And I love doing it. You love doing it.
I love doing it. I have this giant wheel and circle, and someday I'm going to put it on my own YouTube and share it with everybody. But it's my philosophy, and it's how when our organization does well, it actually benefits, like you're saying, when we have a win, the community, it gives us the ability to put some of that back out. And it's my why. And somebody helped me find it a long, long time ago. Okay, every day you come to work, what is your why? You do this. And she goes, I really think you get people what they need. And I was like, I thought about it and I go, you know what? She is right. So you get to the top of this giant circle and you think, when that first person buys a vehicle, we're getting them the vehicle that they need. But it's a vehicle to go on road trips to the Big Bend. It's a vehicle to take the kids to soccer. It's a vehicle for car karaoke, to take mom, to take mom to the doctor's office, to get to work in the morning. This is my why. They absolutely need this vehicle, and it's for all of these things. That's actually a part of their life. It's not just a piece of steel. People love their vehicles.
Oh, yeah.
Because I know this
People
because
very attached to their
when
vehicles.
they trade them in, they always want way more than they're worth. And I know that's the emotional component that is part of the issue. But so they get that. Then the team member that we have that sold that vehicle, he's able to make a living, right? He's able to get his house, send his kids to the school he wants to, be able to take that vacation he wanted to. So you're sort of fulfilling his why as well. So those two whys go out into the universe and you come on down, and what we have left over is, one, the ability to expand with leftover dollars. Now we get to promote people who have been working so hard. We get anyone who's really had a trajectory. See, there I go.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one.
Trajectory to move on up, and they've been putting in the time and work and loyalty. When we open up a new store, we're able to promote people from within. And so I also love doing that and helping them on their pathway and career. And then with the money we have left over from there, exactly what you said, we're able to put that right back into the community. And the why is getting people the help that they need in San Antonio, Bexar County, and South Texas. So one of my favorite stories is, and this is one of a million, we went one time 16 years ago, and I know it's 16 because I was pregnant with my son, Habitat for Humanity, and we helped a young lady build her house, and they build them alongside you there. And so it was great. It was more of a team building for us, like to get out there in the community and help. Didn't think anything beyond that. 2 or 3 years later, this lady calls me up, hey, you guys helped me build my house and I'm ready to buy a new car. Well, my little narrow-minded self, being younger, thought, all right, this might be a credit challenge, but we're going to do the best we can to help her out.
Your dad never told you don't prejudge.
I should know better. I don't judge
know he told you that.
Anybody now. Yeah, I've got another story about that, but for another time. I sold a lot of people on that 1 year no payment Mitsubishis that actually did have money down that all the other salesmen backed off of. But I digress. So back to this young lady, she comes in and it turns out that not only has she had success living in her house, she's also had a job this entire time. Her credit score is perfect. She's helping others build houses in that same neighborhood that were in her same situation. And she's able to come in and buy a brand new car. And so now we're back at that full circle event where now we're back at the top, where we're able to help get her the vehicle she needs. She's helping the salesperson or what have you. But she is a full-fledged participating member of society now, doing good things for others as well. And so that's my big old why and the connection with that. And not only that, she bought 4 or 5 more cars after that and referred her entire family over to come buy cars. Never saw this coming, not what I did it for, but just another example of getting people what they need is my why, and following that path just connects the entire circle to make it make sense, to help me to get up and go to work every day.
That's a great way to put it into graph form. I love that.
Right. Yeah. I'm a very visual person.
Yeah. I've never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
For me, it's the root of that is the old Zig Ziglar adage. You help enough other people get what they want, you'll always get what you want.
That's so true.
If you put them first.
That's correct. And I did, and had no idea this was. I just imagined that it keeps occurring in that fashion. I'm not keeping count. I don't have an ROI on it.
Well, some of them you'll never know.
Does.
You'll never know the impact that you make.
It's just it's just happening.
And it's okay.
It's out there. Yeah.
And it's okay because again, that's not why it's done.
Right.
It's done because it's the right thing to do. and it's done because that's how you're built and
Right.
how I'm built, and it's certainly how my wife is built. My wife is such, I mean, such a giving person, and has made me such a better man. But
It's nice when you have a partner in crime like that.
It is,
right?
is.
You to go out and do something with. It does make it even a bonding situation for the both of you.
yeah, and like you and your husband, we work together every day.
Sure.
You know, and we'll
Which
talk,
rarely
and we'll
doesn't
talk about
always
that
work.
too. We'll
yeah.
talk about that too. In fact, let's get into that right now. How does that work out? How do you separate the car talk work life from the personal life whenever just when April and Jason get home?
So ironically, I mean, I don't know how family of a show this is, but that's kind of our foreplay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we dig it so much that bringing it home is just part of talk. We don't have and I think this is individualized. It's whatever suits your family, you, and how you operate.
Yep.
It doesn't have to be that way to be perfect or work for other people. For us, when we talk about it at home, it's almost like gossip. You'll never believe what happened here.
Yeah.
And I've got one right now on my way here. I was talking to him about with somebody who used to work for us. And so we don't separate it, and we don't even separate it with our children. They're a part of it, and it's a part of them. They come to work. It's all very familiar. So we enjoy it so much. We do that. Now, we do stay in our lane, right? I know
Yeah.
that might sound cliche, but that's the best way for us to get along cohesively. He does the micromanaging now, and I do the macro managing. We meet at the general manager level. So we both hire general managers together. And then I go to the outside and he goes to the inside. So I look for other investments. I deal with the legislature when it comes to dealer topics, maybe city council, other dealers, and he deals with the day-to-day numbers. And then we come together and discuss and try to stay out of now. Every now and then we've crossed lanes. And when we cross lanes, we try to defer to whoever's lane it is. I know I'm in your lane right now, and I'll defer to you, but I feel strongly about this. So we do have that. We've gotten in little tiffs before, but that's normal.
It's
So,
almost impossible not to when you're both working at the same profession,
yeah.
in the same environment, and there's good and there's bad about that. Obviously, I understand it because that's how Debbie and I operate as well.
Mhm.
We don't have a definitive line.
Yeah.
When we get home, why wouldn't we want to talk about our day just like anybody else wants to
Yeah.
talk about their day, right? Good or bad. We certainly don't let the bad stuff spill into it for too long.
Right.
It's pretty brief. But I had somebody sitting in that same chair that said, "Oh no, you've got to separate it. You can't talk about work at home, and you just don't bring that with." And I'm thinking to myself, I'm nodding,
Yeah.
because that works for him.
Yeah, that
right?
works for
That
him.
works for him.
And that's fine.
But for us and
Yeah.
for you, it's a little different.
Yeah, it just depends on who you are and your relationship and your personalities. And for us, we've always loved the business so much, come from the exact same backgrounds that it's great discussion. We're also never on vacation, maybe always on vacation. I don't know if that makes sense.
Oh, I
But-
understand that.
Right?
I do understand
It gives
that.
you the flexibility to be wherever you want to be, but at the same time, you're never disconnected. We also don't have a problem with that.
We don't either.
I'm happy to answer. I get a lot of customer interactions on direct messages on social media, tons. And they're like, "Hey, listen, I need some help at your South Park Nissan store," because we have 2 Nissan stores, or could you help me with that? Well, if I'm in Vegas and I have a moment, I'll step aside and call my general manager, help the person out. No
Yeah.
big deal. And my husband's fine with that. And he does the same. And then but we're still in Vegas. So I solved a customer problem. I'm in Vegas. What's next? So
Exactly.
it's not an issue. And we both enjoy doing that.
Well, what I try to keep in mind is that's the reason I get to go on this vacation.
That's correct. That's also correct.
Yeah.
I've got these wonderful customers that keep coming back. I'm lucky that they don't just walk away from an issue, that they address it with me, that I'm able to have the opportunity to fix it. You don't always have that. So to be able to do that, yeah, that's why I'm on this vacation right now. So let me take care of you. Make sure I can go on another one.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah,
And your kids, I'm sure they enjoy the traveling too.
they did. They did. So somewhere around 2 years ago, they just want to be with their friends now. Yeah. So
So your son is 16?
He's 16.
Oh, yeah. He doesn't want to do anything but be with his friends.
Right. My daughter's 13. Again, we're blessed. We went to Hawaii last year, the Disney place in Hawaii.
Oh, that's cool.
For a week. And my son tried to be very diplomatic about it. He was very thoughtful. Guys, you are the bomb. Thank you for taking me to Hawaii. Awesome. Love it. Don't need to do it again. And I was like, all right. So we were like, boy, we sure could have saved a lot of money just leaving the kids at home. But my daughter stayed in at that time, she was wearing all black, grunge, pasty white. That's her personality. And she stayed in the room the whole time. I was like, they would have been. So guess what we did this year? We stayed at home. Let them hang out with their friends.
Take your couple's vacation.
Right. We'll go somewhere else later. We saved a ton of money, stayed here for spring break the whole time.
And they probably had a much better time.
I'm telling you they did.
Yeah.
Than Hawaii. So
our granddaughter, we love traveling too.
Right.
And she lives with us right now, and she's going to be a senior next year. She just finished her junior year. So she is in that, I want to be with my friends. That's all I want to do.
Yeah.
So she has a chance to go to Santa Fe with us for a month.
Nope.
I want to stay at home. I've taken time away from my friends.
That's right.
So I understand the mindset.
It's so hard to wrap your head around that from where you're at, where we're like, hey, let's take a cruise in the Mediterranean. They're like, eh. And you're like, what the? And I don't think it's because they're spoiled. On the contrary, their happy place is with their buddies.
Yeah.
That's it.
Everybody's got their thing.
They're just happy with their buddies. So, which makes me happy. I'm glad they have a group of friends they want to hang out with. Kind of sad they don't want to hang out with mom and dad, but I get it.
Do they hang out at your house or at other people's houses?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah, both. So sometimes they're all at ours and you hear a ruckus upstairs and sometimes other places. So they're good and well-rounded in the friend area.
That's good.
I'm very lucky.
That's a lot
right now.
That's a lot of the uphill battle that some parents, including me whenever my kids were younger, is keeping them away from the bad influences.
Oh, yeah.
That's tough.
We haven't struggled with them primarily, but seeing them close enough around, hovering, hearing tidbits of other groups that may be influencing with the people they're hanging out. It's been, you hold your breath, you try to teach them, you educate them. My son's going to a birthday party, or not a birthday party, graduation party tonight. And he's in 10th grade and it's with graduating seniors. So we did okay, if you need to call me, let me know. Nobody's in trouble. You got to walk away. These are, you can say no, even if it makes you not look cool, that you didn't, I don't know, jump off a roof onto a mattress. I'm like, don't.
Or whatever it is.
I'm making stuff up, but.
You know.
I know.
No, he knows.
And he knows.
He knows.
Yeah. So he's actually a really good kid, but I don't want him to be in a peer pressure situation. Right. So I want him to know that he's got all of these available outlets to be able to make the smart and intelligent move to get out of a situation. But we're still letting him go. But luckily, one of our really good friends is like 3 houses down. I'm like, you have a problem, you just run over to that house. You just go over there.
It's good to have friends like that.
I know.
It really is good to have friends like that.
So, yeah, we're nervous because I don't know these kids that well where he's going to, even though he's going with his buddies. But, yeah, it's nerve-wracking, guys.
Being a parent, never dull.
Not for the faint of heart. Not for the faint of heart.
Guys, we got to take a break. When we come back, more with April Ancira. We got a lot to talk about still. We're going to talk about some charity work and how she navigates the public life, and keeps her privacy too. We'll be right back. Thank you so much to our sponsor, PJ's Coffee of New Orleans. If you want to try the very best small batch roasted coffee that you're going to find anywhere, look no further than PJ's Coffee of New Orleans. 2 great locations to serve you in the San Antonio area at Camp Bullis and I-10 and at 281 and Bulverde Road. You're going to find all your favorites at both locations, from wonderful espressos, macchiatos, you name it, they've got it, as well as some delicious energy drinks, as well as our signature granita. And beignets, yeah, you bet we have them, and they are phenomenal. Be sure to stop by the PJ's closest to you and try any of our wonderful coffees, teas, and pastries. Thanks again to PJ's Coffee of New Orleans for sponsoring the Bomba Pod. Hey, everybody, we're back on the Bomba Pod with my guest, April Ancira. April, thanks so much for being here.
I'm having a great time.
Appreciate it so much. We were talking about how an hour goes like that.
Yeah.
You know, if it's going well. If it's going poorly, an hour goes like.
Yeah. Luckily, it's not only 5 minutes in, right? Now, we'd be in trouble.
Well, I thought about that the first time I did it. I said, an hour, that's a lot of time. And then at an hour 5, hour 10, I'm like, I wish I had more time.
So, like you and I have both done stand-up now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so when
one of us more than the other.
Right? Well, when they say 3 minutes, I thought, good Lord, that's going to be forever. And they told me, okay, you're going to have a little blinky light in the back. And when that blinky light goes off, you've got like 30 seconds left. And so the blinky light just kept going off. And I kept going. I was like, I noticed the blinky light was going, but my jokes are still coming. So here we go. So I didn't realize I needed more time. I didn't.
Yeah.
It actually goes by way faster than you think.
It does. And that was the only note that my wife had for me whenever I did the Cleto thing.
Yeah.
And you were the judge. You were one of the
judges.
judges.
I was a judge. Yeah. I didn't want, my husband doesn't want me to do stand-up anymore.
Okay.
Yeah. He said I become like a walking zombie because I'm running the set through my head for an entire week.
Which you have to.
Yes.
You
and
have
so
to.
I'm perfecting it in my brain, making adjustments. So I'm not talking to anybody except for myself. So there's little voices in my head for a week, but the voice is mine. So
Yeah, that would put a little cramp in the style there.
It does.
Yeah. But whatever, the one note she gave me was, do you know that you went like way over?
yeah, it's easy to do.
I had no idea.
It's easy to do.
I had no idea. Even Cleto gave me grief about it. And I'm like, man, I had no idea. You told me I have this much material. I thought that's what I had.
Yeah,
So anyway, it was a lot of fun.
it was good fun.
I did not win.
That's
I did not
okay.
win. If I remember,
You were up against a world-renowned Grammy-winning
I know.
singer who wrote an entire song about Cleto, right? Wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
With costume.
Yeah.
It was like Weird Al Yankovic
Yeah.
in female form.
A costume, a song, a Grammy winner.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I wasn't
I
up
had
that
no
year.
shame.
I would have not
I had no
won
shame
at
about it.
all that
Nah.
year.
But everybody was pretty funny on that
They
one,
were.
I thought.
They
Yeah.
were.
I mean, Jeremy Baker was there.
Yeah, I ended up going against him that one time. I did that, and he was dressed as a unicorn, so that was funny. There was another guy who talked about alcohol minis,
Yeah.
and that's how you know if you're in trouble is if you start carrying around minis.
That was Sean Rima.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
now every time I see a mini, I think of him. And I don't carry him around with
And
me
he's still
either, but
sober.
good for him.
I think he's still sober.
Yeah. So one of the best things comedians can do is make fun of their dark moments, right?
Yeah.
Your most difficult moments. So, and I've done that. Actually, the time I did it in one, I ended with a joke on my dark moment, which had happened only 2 weeks prior to that moment. So,
That's close to the bone.
yeah. So I had a very public fall from grace. And I went right out there and threw it as part of my routine, and the house was laughing. So
And let's talk about that. We don't have to get into specifics about any of that, but as a public figure, and like it or not, I like it. Who am I kidding? We both like it. But we wouldn't do this if we didn't. People know you when you go out.
yeah,
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
You get the stares, you get the,
yeah,
it used to bother me because I didn't understand why they were staring at me.
right.
And then I finally realized, they think that they know me. And then they realize, yes, they do know me.
Yeah.
And they're being kind enough to not bother me with the night out with my family.
Sure.
And if they do, I don't care.
Yeah,
I'm
me
always,
either.
I'm always
Can
happy to talk to anybody.
Can I sell them a car? Maybe
Exactly.
I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, you're a customer? Great. Well, you're not? Okay. Would you like to be
Yeah.
one? Let's talk
It's
about
funny
that.
though to be famous for selling cars.
Or
Right.
windows.
Right.
It is.
So it is really.
It is kind of weird, right?
Right. Yeah.
But you are. I mean, like it or not, you are. So you do have to be very conscious about what you're doing in public.
Correct. Yeah.
And what I told somebody one time, they said, "Do you have to be careful?" And I said, "Well, yeah." I said, "But the way that you do things right in public is to do them right in private. That way, you don't have to keep them straight."
That's hey, that's a good motto.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. I think a lot of our politicians maybe could use that.
Boy, couldn't they?
Yeah.
And to me, it's not that you have to be a goody-goody either. I mean, I like a good margarita. I like a good old-fashioned. I'm not a teetotaler, but I also know my limitations as a dad, a husband, a public figure. And how do you navigate that? When you go out, what is that like to you? How do you navigate the public life and reconcile it with the private life?
For the most part, I think you were spot on with what you said. What I do privately is probably what I would do publicly, right? I don't have much to hide except for, I mean, I put most of it out there anyways, all my quirks and idiosyncrasies on Facebook. Okay, this is my goofy, weird side. This is my insecurities are all out here for you guys. I don't have a problem with it. I maybe hide some things that my kids do privately.
Well, you have to.
Yeah,
you have to have some private.
That's their business, you know. And then there's some things that I don't think the people would even want to consume. Doom and gloom does happen in my life. I feel like there's enough of that on social media, so I don't put it out there just because I think there's enough of that on social media, not because I have a problem with it. But it's hard to do it. So I don't know. I don't carry myself any different. Actually, I don't.
I guess probably the better question then would have been how does your family react to it?
Okay. Let's just use the scenario that I just discussed, which I have no problem ever discussing. It happened in 2019. It was a very busy day. I had a Trinity University board meeting that entire day. I actually left for lunch to meet with the Express News to talk about fundraising for another opportunity, went back to my board meeting, changed for the Clarity event for mental health youth, which I bought a table because my friend Joanna was chairing it, wanted me to buy it. So I was like, okay. So I did that right after an incredibly busy day. And I'm trying to navigate, okay, who's going to pick up the kids? Well, I have to go to this event, blah, 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 blah. So I go to the event. And to be honest, in the back of my head, not outwardly, I was keeping pace of what I was drinking. I really thought I was at a metabolism rate of water, 1 drink per hour. I honest to God, thought I was in. Which
we do every time we go out.
It was in the back of my head.
Yeah.
I can't say it was in the forefront. But in the back of my head, it was like, okay, 1 drink an hour with water, blah, 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 blah. I should be fine. I was even offered a drink at the end of the night, and I turned it down because I said, no, I don't need any more. I'm going to be driving soon. We're good. So to be honest, I thought I was fine. My husband and I got in a fight. He usually follows me. I hopped into the car and I started driving like this because we were in a fight, right? And I'm just going home like, God, I can't believe we got in a fight over something. I backed off from the mic there. I can't believe we got in a fight over something so dumb. As the story goes, I was pulled over. I told the truth. I thought the truth shall set you free.
I've learned otherwise.
I was like, he goes, what is how much you had to drink? This many drinks. Name your medications. These medications. I was like, he's going to find out that I'm perfectly fine. And of course, when I did the test, I stood on 1 foot forever.
Yeah.
I walked just fine. All of the things turned out just fine. As we know, things went downhill.
Did the officer know who you were?
Yes, he did. And here's how I know. When he got back to the office, he started high-fiving everybody. They didn't know who he was, but then it turned out that he called one of the news stations and gave him a quote. There's more to that story.
Wow.
There's a lot more to this story to include like the accuracy of the test. Once I got there, they actually threw that out. I probably should have gone about this all a different way, but it was just, own it. Anyways, I did all the things they asked me to do. The judge even said, because you're April Ancira, I'm charging you more. When everybody says they didn't see anything online, if they go and review what I had to do, it's more than anybody else has to do because I'm April Ancira. That's what they'll end up finding out.
But the fact that she actually said that.
Yeah, I know.
That's wow.
Yeah, and that is on record, so somebody could look it up, that he says, normally this is what you have to pay, but because you're April Ancira, I'm charging you more. he said I couldn't do volunteer work because I already do too much. So I had to pay the fine. So I couldn't volunteer instead of paying it. Yeah.
You're too generous with your time, April.
So I thought that was fine. But I had the breathalyzer for a super long time. I had a probation officer. I went out of town for an Ironman race, came back, go to the bathroom in front of them thing. So if anybody thinks I didn't do anything, I did it all and more.
Wow.
It's just behind the scenes. But to handle it publicly, very difficult. I fell on my sword. I will never try to count in my head ever again. I will never.
So you take the clicker with you now?
I would no. I will never even try to do the math of did I have too much to drink?
Yeah.
It's Uber. I could buy a stock in Uber, or my husband's driving, or a friend who's not drinking is driving us. I still drink, but I drink with the appropriate means of getting home. I'm going to the Spurs game tonight. Guess what I'm taking? I'm taking an Uber. I will never go through that ever again. I've learned my lesson. And I think my mind was too focused. I was so busy at that time that I was focusing on the next day already. When I got in the car, upset with my husband, I was already thinking I have to get up early to make sure Hope gets to school with us. Does she remember her tennis racket for tennis lessons? I've got to be back at Trinity for my board meeting by 8:30 a.m. So I'm going 100 miles an hour, not even stopping to think, should I be driving? Is there an issue here? What's going on? And so that's something else that I've learned is don't overwhelm yourself with yes. I can do all of this, trying to be a superhero.
Oh, yeah.
Because then you lose sight of the short-term important things like, can I get home safely this evening? Is one of those things. I was not out at a bar taking shots. So let's get that out of the way. That never happened. I was at a charitable event thinking that I was doing just fine. And in my class, I also took one of the classes. Everybody else in that class was at bars taking shots, saying, I ended up in a ditch. I ended up over here. And they were like, what did you do? I was like, I went to a charity event.
You're like the jaywalker in the prison cell with all of the murderers.
And I have to tell you, I have, by the way, that stay overnight in jail was actually excellent. And I have to tell you why in just a minute. But aside from that, the guy in the classroom did say, there's always one person just like you who was just like, wait, I went to a charity event. I wasn't doing what you think. I didn't think I could get away with anything. And so so that's actually a message to all of us in this arena who have a lot going on, a lot to do. We're at an event. You maybe have the endless wine pour where you don't see it being refilled. And that we should just be conscious of that to either keep our eye on our drink the whole time or take an Uber anytime there's a question.
If there's a question, yeah.
If there's a question, if there's any chance. So let me tell you, while I was in there, I decided to have a conversation with everybody in there. I decided to talk.
Miss Shy Introvert.
Yeah, I know. So, of course, there was one lady who said she was going to shank me for cutting in line for the phone. But once I explained to her.
You actually had somebody threaten to shank you.
Yeah, but once I explained to her that I just tried to use the phone and did it improperly, that I was just told how to use it accordingly, she goes, oh, okay, no problem, have a seat. And she sat back down. I was like, that easy? All right. So, but when I started talking to all the ladies in there, I wanted to know why they were in there. I said, okay, did you just do something tonight? All of them were repeats. They all been there multiple times. One of them even said she normally gained weight while she was in there because the food was so good. And I was like, dude, the food just jumped out of my hand and ran into a hole. I don't even know how you got that way. So I talked to all these ladies, but not in an interview fashion, just in passing.
Yeah.
And what I learned is they're all in a cycle, a very difficult situation where all they know is this is how we live. This is the cycle. I'm going to be on parole, probation. I'm going to break it. I'm going to come back in. I'm going to come back in with minor, small violations. And in my head, I didn't know how to solve that problem at all. I thought, God, how could we help them break this cycle? And I hope somebody figures it out. I really do. But what I did notice is they all have kids. And so in my head, I was like, you know what? We need to break the cycle for them because who are they staying with while they're in here? They're staying with an uncle, some stranger down the street. They're in foster care.
Possibly an
abusive relationship, or from, an adoptive parent or something. It's not good. This is where we can break them out. So that's when I started getting involved again with Boys and Girls Club. And that's where I really want to start seeing more initiatives with kids. I'm hopefully there's something out there for adults, but I have to tell you that night in there, that's what changed for me. While I was sitting there is my involvement with kids and helping them become those productive citizens in the city, in the state that we hope that they can be to be able to live a really good and fulfilling life. And so now I've even been more engaged over time with Boys and Girls Club and any after San Antonio sports, after school sports, so they have somewhere to go when they're, when school lets out, something productive for them to do, anything youth involved. So
anything that can set the mindset in the right direction before they're adults.
Right.
Early.
And so when it comes to public and seeing what I've done, I am true to myself. These are the things I've done. Listen, this is what happened. I'm never going to do it again. I'm going to own it. I'm so sorry. And then I'm going to take whatever happened to me negative and find out, okay, what's the lesson here? Where's the benefit? Where can we take this? And to be honest, that's what came to me that day, is that this is the direction I'm going to take what happened to me.
Well, thank you for sharing that. I've heard you talk a little bit about it on stage before, but that was refreshingly honest.
I don't know. I've never told it on a podcast.
Well,
I don't know that I have. Yeah.
Now you have.
Yeah.
And thank you for doing that, because I think that it's easy, and I think maybe that's how some of these cycles get started, is the one-time offense that could have been a one-time offense is now that's who they are.
Yeah.
Whether in their mind or in their peers' minds, that's who they are now. And that's a difficult thing to get out of. Whenever you were told that this is who you are and this is what you are.
Right. And that's what you've been seeing.
And yeah.
And the crazy thing is, and I don't know who these people are on the outside on an everyday basis, but they were really nice. They were really funny, thoughtful. They helped me tell me, okay, you've got this paper. You only have an hour left. This is what's next. This is when you take your glamour shot. This is when
running you through it.
They were running me through the drill
great.
on how everything went down. And I was like, you know what? These are really good, honest people. Like, well, how honest, I don't know. They ended up with me in there. So, but it really shined a light on the type of folks that end up in those situations aren't maybe any preconceived idea that I might have had, right?
Yeah, yeah. The way I think I would put it is they're not bad people. They made some really bad decisions.
Right, and they got caught in them, and they're in that cycle. So I think that's one of the biggest issues that we've got as a city. So yeah, I went right back into like city mode, interview mode, right when I was in there. I was like, well, I'm here. What am I going to do with my time?
Well, you learned from it.
Yeah.
And it was, you did the best that you could with it.
Yeah.
I think.
I'm going to have to tell you more stories when this isn't on. I'm not sure they're appropriate, but
we'll talk about that.
I had a great time in there in a weird way.
That cracks me up. So you talk about Boys and Girls Club. Let's talk a little bit about ALS, and I know that that's something that's really close to you and a cause that means something to you personally. Why is that?
Yeah, my grandmother was diagnosed around 2013, 2014 with ALS, and granted, she lived a really long, great life, and she was surrounded by family, love her to death. The problem is ALS is just such a horrible disease. It's one of the only few out there that's absolutely incurable.
It's brutal.
Even most cancers, you can say you've got this % chance. Even pancreatic cancer, I believe you have like 10% chance. You have 0% chance with ALS. Zero right now. It's 0% chance. We can slow it down. There's new drugs out there. You can slow it down. But it is brutal because it takes away your body and your mind's okay. And I've always wondered, would I rather have Alzheimer's or ALS, where it takes my mind but not my body? That'd probably be more difficult for other people with Alzheimer's.
But not for you.
But not for me. That's right. ALS, to be trapped in a body that's not working, has got to be.
And to know it.
And to know it and to have all your faculties. So challenging. So I had done some minor fundraising up until that point. And I went to visit my grandmother in the hospital one time, and she goes, you need to fundraise for ALS. And it's my grandma. What am I going to say? I was like, yes, ma'am. Signing up right now, ma'am. Like, done. So I signed up to do it. And it's such a rewarding feeling to fundraise. And there's a little bit of competitive addiction as well. So you watch those dollars come in, $5, $10, $15, and it's just like you keep checking your total because you know that you're doing something in order to be able to, one, assist people who currently have the disease, help them get a wheelchair, medical care, but you're also helping fund future opportunities at a cure as well, which you hope to see eradicated someday. So there's two bits to it. You know you're doing something good and you're being competitive because you kind of want to win. And so I was going, I can't remember, I think it was Judy's Walkers, maybe, the night before the cutting of the ribbon. This is only including just fundraising and not the part of selling sponsorships because I did that on top of the $40,000. Whoever raised the most got to cut the ribbon. I was up till 2 a.m.
You want to cut that
dumping
ribbon.
my own money into this thing, waiting until the last minute for it to close, and then I dumped an extra $1,000 in to cut this. And my picture, I think it's still on X, is my grandmother next to me, and I'm cutting the ribbon. She, of course, has since passed away
What a special thing, though.
from complications of ALS, but I'll always have that. I'll always have, I did this for you, us, the future, as a big I love you in a way. And so that one meant a lot to me. I'm not as engaged when it comes to attending, but we're definitely still sponsors year after year. And it's a big one in my heart.
Well, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
And thanks for sharing everything you did today.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me on.
This has been beyond fun. And I mean, I expected certain things whenever Dennis told me that you were going to be on, but you've exceeded that.
Oh, my goodness.
And,
Thank you.
And I really appreciate that.
Well, that makes my day. We'll see. I have to beat the number of reels watched by Bill Taylor. Bill Taylor had
Bill's had a lot. Cleto's had a lot.
Okay. So here we go.
But you have got such a following that I think that if you put it out, it's going to go viral.
It's possible.
Yeah.
It's possible. Okay. Well, we'll see.
So share the love.
Well, I'm competitive. We know this. I got to get my views up.
Absolutely. So things that we didn't get to talk about that we're going to talk about next time because there will be a next time.
Okay. Now we got to keep coming back.
Okay. We got to talk about Cavender. We got to.
Yeah. We didn't talk about Ironman.
That is flipping hilarious.
Oh, my billboard with half his face.
We'll talk about that next time. We got to talk about your sports involvement with UTSA, your triathlete stuff that you do.
Yeah.
You're insane. But we will talk about that next time.
We actually did miss a lot of stuff.
I'm telling you, 1 hour, boom, gone. Everybody, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate you being a part of this segment. And thanks to April Ancira for being here today. And we will catch you next time on the Bomba Pod. Thank you for tuning in to the Bomba Pod. If this episode encouraged you, share it with a friend, post it, and help us spread the inspiration. Special thanks to our producer, Dennis Ayotte, and to our sponsors, Window World and PJ's Coffee of New Orleans, for helping make these conversations possible. I'm Martin Bomba, and remember, your story matters, your voice matters, and your impact starts now. Until next time, go out and spread some kindness. Make the world a better place. The views expressed on this show by the guest or the host may not reflect those of our sponsors.